In this video, we're going to be talking about home warranties, and more specifically, home selling strategies using home warranties. And we have a special guest with us. His name is Kourtney Funk, and he's with Home Warranty Incorporated. We're going to have him on the show. We're going to be covering a bunch of different topics when it comes to home warranties, like maybe some misconceptions that people have about home warranties, kind of the benefits of those home warranties. And we're going to get into some really good details about kind of what those are and how they benefit you as an agent and how it could really benefit you to offer them to your clients as a service of your value proposition. So without further ado, let's jump straight in this video with my conversation with Kourtney Funk with Home Warranty Incorporated. Hey, Kourtney, welcome to the Advantage Live show, my friend. How are you?
Hey, really good. Hey, Adam, I really appreciate being on. How are you?
Doing well, man. Doing really well. It's my honor to have you, man. I know we go back for many years. Most of the agents in our company know you very well. You've been a kind of a staple, to be honest. You come around often. I don't think anyone that's from our offices would doubt they know who you are. I think they, for the most part, will know exactly who you are. Maybe some of the newer ones, but I'd venture to say they know exactly who you are.
I tend to bother you guys a lot. That's correct. On purpose.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
we do appreciate it, honestly, because I think there's a huge value when it comes to home warranties. And that's kind of what we want to talk about today is kind of what home warranties are, some misconceptions about those, and ways that we can kind of just use those to help kind of either market ourselves, but also provide a really good service to our clients. So we're going to kind of talk about that. Before we kind of get into all that, though, let's just talk a little bit about Kourtney. Let's talk about kind of who you are and how you got into the home warranty industry to begin with. If you don't mind, share a little bit about that.
Yep. So if I wasn't doing this, I'd be a professional bass fisherman, or at least I'd attempt to. I don't know what it is, but I love to fish more than anything else, But I have 4 daughters. I've been married 20 years, a little over 20 years. I live in Jamestown, Kentucky, and I worked in construction. Honestly, I graduated from college. And right on my graduation day, realized I didn't really want to, use my degree. So I started in construction, loved it, loved to work hard. And that really, kind of laid the underpinnings or the foundation for how well I understand building. I understand remodeling. I've done it all. And so I love dealing with customers, because sometimes I literally get a claim where a customer will call me and say, "Hey, I'm about to file a claim. This is broken." And I'll say, "Stop. Just put a little Vaseline on." So, honestly, I got some solutions for plumbing, especially. And they're like, "Holy cow, you saved me deductible." So I think I can benefit some people that way. Yeah.
Kourtney, that's pretty cool. So I did know that you love to bass fish. I knew that, but I had no idea that you had a construction background. Like I didn't know that what you went to school for at all. So,
yeah, well, I didn't go to school for it. I went to school for Parks and Recreation, and
okay,
and that's a joke now because there's a TV show about it. So I know soundbite or Adam drop a funny sound, but no, in literally Parks and Recreation. But when I got out, I realized that I just wanted to work hard. I'm a farm kid. I was raised on a farm, so I just love the hard work of construction. It stuck to me.
That's really neat, man. I can see how that goes really well with the job you're in now, because I think just like you kind of pointed out, answering questions and that kind of stuff, being able to have a knowledge about what those homes are like and how they operate would be very, very good to have in the position you're in. So that's good, man. That's good. Yep. Well, let's get into the actual topic here. Let's just start off with kind of describing like kind of what home warranties are and kind of what they're not, because I think there's some of that kind of stuff out there. So what are they and what are they not?
Yeah, perfect. So home warranties are basically they're a mechanical services contract. Mechanical meaning, and this is really good for agents to know. You sort of have a general rule of thumb. If it operates on water, power, or gas, we typically cover it. Okay. So I've had a lot of calls to, do you guys fix windows, siding, doors that don't shut correctly? And the misleading part is it says home warranty. And so it's not actually the entire home. It is within the foundational walls of the house only, but it is mechanical systems. It is something that runs on water, power, and gas. Now, the outlier are some of the coverages that home warranty companies offer as upgrades, maybe like roof. Obviously, roofs are not water, power, gas. But again, most people's base plans are just centered on mechanical services.
Okay, so say that again. It's water, power, and gas.
Yep. Mhm.
So
Those
that's
three, if it operates on one of those three, we typically are involved.
okay. And typically, in home warranty companies across the board, is that kind of basically the premise behind that, right? Those are
That
the
is.
moving parts of a home. Those are things that probably majority of people have problems with.
Yep.
And so those are the things that kind of home warranty comes along and kind of helps, you know, ease the burden
That's right.
of the
So,
expenses.
that's right. So homeowners insurance, we are the wear and tear gap between nothing and homeowners insurance. Excuse me. So when you have nothing and then you have homeowners, you can call them all day long and they will not cover the wear and tear, but we are the wear and tear gap. Yep.
Okay, and that kind of goes right into kind of what my next question was going to kind of be is those misconceptions. Because I think you just kind of alluded to that. You said there is this idea when you say home warranty, it's like you think, oh, the whole home is covered under a warranty, those type of things. And I think it's really important for us agents to kind of understand what a home warranty is and what some of the misconceptions that the client and the consumer might actually have about home warranties. So in that regard, would you say that's one of the kind of biggest misconceptions? Maybe elaborate a little bit on the misconceptions of home warranty.
Sure, Adam. Sure, I've had agents call about tree removal in the backyard. I've had, do we cover that? And do we cover siding? Again, holes in siding, things that are inanimate. So typically that's basic where. And then the other big misconception is home warranties are we will help fix or repair something that comes into the contract period broken. So whether they know it or not, if a technician would determine that it's not working and it has never worked inside the coverage period, people think we are just in case it doesn't work. We will keep, and that is, yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this. That is the number one thing usually that people think we are just in case it doesn't work, but it simply has to work properly inside the coverage period. And if people have that understanding, hey, this has to bake one pizza, hey, this has to wash one load of dishes, and then they will cover it, people usually are thrilled with what we do. Yeah.
So that's really good. So that's helpful. And I think it would be good due diligence on an agent's part to kind of really get in there and read through some of the materials that you provide and kind of what those details are. But I think answering those questions for the homeowners and for ourselves is key to being able to how to kind of learn how to utilize these to kind of help us in our business and offer it as a service. So what would you say is some of the most, really important aspects of a home warranty? What are some of those things that you would say, look, this is what it's really for. This is what it's about.
Yeah. So if I was going to become a real estate agent for Steve today, as a buyer, if I was going to deal with mostly buyers, I would really focus on the seller providing them so that I could save money. So that, especially in this market, or we're just off of a hot market where people are paying over asking price and overextending themselves a little bit to get into homes. We are budget protection. We are going to normalize so that they're not out a huge chunk of money on a water heater, on an HVAC system, that first year, second year, and they can renew if they want. So that's where I would approach a buyer and say, hey, look, you really need to add one of these because you're barely squeezing into this house or whatever, but they can normalize your budget. They can normalize your budget.
That's a valid point, Kourtney. We're talking about like where the market has had some crazy inflation. And so the expense for a buyer is really, really high. That is a way to help reduce some of the buyer's burden if they buy the home for them not to have to put more money into the home. So in a market where we're still a very high expensive market, home warranty is a great way to kind of help hedge the bets a little bit for the buyer's side. So that's good. If you're representing the buyer, that's really good because of the inflation that we're dealing with. That's good.
Yeah. And I like the way you put that. If a seller is not offering a home warranty as a buyer, I would 100% ask for it every time. I mean, what's the worst they can do is say no. But if they say yes, they're buying the home warranty. And then they might come back to you in 3 months and go, wow, they paid for 3 repairs so far. And I'm not out any of that money. You've just normalized my budget. I didn't have to worry about a big spike in expenses. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's excellent. So, and on the seller side, let's kind of transition a little bit onto that side. Why would an agent need to recommend their seller? So I agree with you. I think buyers should go in and ask, and they should do that. But then now we flip to the other side. Now we're the agent and we're going in to talk to our seller, and we want the seller to provide this. So why should a seller do that? What does that look like?
Yeah. So there's about three reasons, and I think here's where the real value adds. So back in the day, kind of before the big heat up of the market, sellers used to be responsible for 60 to 80%. That's not an actual. I just assume, and I think that's what I've heard. Between a majority of these were sold out by the sellers. Trying to attract more buyers, trying to make their offer look more appealing. While the house is on the market. But so, I mean, I got three or four things here. Number one, and I don't think this gets enough attention. If I sell something to you, Adam, if I say, Adam, after I sell it to you and you give me your hard-earned money, you have the ability to call somebody and get some I'm going to give you some financial help after. That really projects a confidence and a strength in the product that I'm selling you. It really does. I don't care if it's a car. I don't care. You now think, wow, he's really proud of it. It must have worked well for him. He's not leaving me high and dry. He's giving me something. And so that's where I think a seller really projects like this seller's proud of what they have. They've taken care of it. It's maintained well. And it just projects strength on a listing. It really does when a seller offers that. So,
yeah, that's a very good point.
yep.
I mean, especially if you're trying to win a buyer and in the past couple of years, obviously, the inventory has been really low and, you list a property and boom, you've got it sold, right? It's not that hard. It just happens almost easily, but we're kind of transitioning a little bit. So as a listing agent, as somebody that's going in with a value proposition and you're presenting this to your seller, what are some of the things you can offer that's going to differentiate you and your seller from the other listings on the market?
Yeah.
Well, my argument would be this is one of those things that you could put into that mix and offer out to them. So, I mean, would you agree with that? I mean, I think so.
100%. So the first thing, we talked about it projects strength and confidence in the property that the seller has. Two, it reduces post-closing headaches. And I don't want to gloss over this at all. It provides the buyers somewhere to go to complain after the close. If I was a seller's agent today, again, so I'll put the other shoe on and say, hey, Steve, I'm happy to become a Century 21 agent. I love sellers. Okay, so if I was going to do this with a seller, I'd say, hey, seller, please help me and help you give that buyer someplace else to go, because certain people love to complain, and I think they're kind of multiplying lately in our culture. So I think it's really important for the seller to give that buyer someplace to go, someplace to call for those repairs. Yep. So post-closing headaches are huge.
Yeah, that's really, really good. That's really good. So how would you explain, or how would you tell somebody, like, let's say you're a listing agent, you're going in to try to get them to buy a home warranty, or you want to talk to them about that, and they've never heard of a home warranty. Like, kind of walk us through that kind of process. Like, what would be a good thing for our agents to kind of do to get in the door with that, to open up that discussion?
Cue the graphic.
All right.
So we're going to pull up a graphic here, guys. This is what most home warranty companies offer. I love ours. This is seller's coverage. This is free seller's coverage for you guys. Adam, can you scroll down just a little bit? And so we can get all those check marks on the screen. There you go. Perfect. A little bit farther. Okay, perfect. So you guys can see that. And I run into so many agents all the time that have never heard of free coverage, but this is literally all those check marks on the right-hand side are free. And there is no obligation. You see that? That's promised with that big white scrolling mark there. But, any listing can be put on today. It doesn't have to be a new listing from this point forward. You can put this coverage on current listings, but it's free. And now the heating and air and the water heater, as you can see, are optional. That carries a small $75 fee. That's pretty normal for the industry. Most people do not cover the heating and air for free. But that'll carry. Some sellers want it, some don't. All those check marks, all those expensive check marks are free, literally by you signing up your seller.
I mean, there you guys go. I mean, look at that. So covered items for sellers: heating units, cooling units, air exchange, duct work, water heater included, tankless, interior plumbing, interior electrical wiring, sump pump, garbage disposal, central vacuum, garage door opener, trash compactor, built-in over-the-range microwave, kitchen refrigerator including ice maker, dishwasher, range oven, cooktop stove, clothes washer, clothes dryer. Guys, I did all that because we do make an audio podcast of this. So there you guys go. You guys can see all those things are covered there. And that's a typical home warranty coverage right there of those parts that we mentioned at the very beginning. So, I mean, guys, I just, to be honest, I don't see why any agent would not at least put this in with their thing if they're going to get free coverage for the seller, right? Would you?
I think
Crickets.
it's a no-brainer, Adam.
I think it is,
just
man.
think
I
it's a
really do
no-brainer.
too.
Yeah, no
Yes.
seller is ever obligated to do anything. So it's just a free, no obligation coverage. And it can really, I mean, if four agents are fighting over a $500,000 listing and they're interviewing and those people are doing some due diligence, I think it would stand out. I just think it's a great tool for you guys. Yeah.
So, and I mean, I guess that's really the thing is like if an agent put this in their pamphlet and they walk in and they offer this up, it's a no obligation they have to go through with it or whatever, but they can offer these coverage at the listing appointment. Correct?
Right. Yeah. They can sign up for any seller anytime as long as it's actively on the market for this. And they're not obligated to buy the buyer's coverage. So, yep.
There you go.
Yep.
So there's really no reason not to at least have this conversation with the seller. There's just not.
Yep.
So, I mean, to be honest, I would just kind of, if I was an agent, I would get really equipped at understanding what home warranties are and how they work and kind of what goes into them. So kind of walk us through a little bit about that process. Like, okay, we go in and we get them, they sign up for the home warranty. Typically what happens at the closing, like when we finally get to the closing, the buyer and the seller agree they're going to go through with the home warranty. What then happens and how does it work if there's an issue or something like that with the home afterwards?
Yeah, perfect. So the buyer would always just file a claim. He would call us just like any insurance company. If you get in a traffic accident, you got to call the cops. They have to fill out an accident report. We work the same way. If you want an insurance company involved in a repair, you'd have to call us and tell us a problem happened and then how much it's going to take to fix it. So, but we send out welcome packets to your buyers to make sure that they're well informed of what to do so that they're not left with an excuse. But can I back up really quick? You
Absolutely.
said, okay, perfect. On the seller side, I still got some more info for you guys.
Oh, excellent.
Right. Yeah. Right before. So there's two trains of thought. When should my seller, if I recommend, so say you give this free coverage, but the seller still doesn't want to offer the home warranty, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Like I said, they're not obligated to do that. But some right away, they want their listing to look really robust. I got a great price on it. It shows 10 acres. It also shows it's coming with a home warranty, and they really want it out front so that they can attract as many buyers as quickly as they can. The other side will say, no, Adam, I don't want to offer a home warranty. I want to wait. And I hope that some agents are savvy enough to say, hey, let's wait till negotiation. Right when we get to that awkward part between a buyer and a seller and we're close. It really provides offering a seller jumping in at the last second saying, hey, let's get some buyer's coverage. It provides an off ramp. It really does. Here's an off ramp for I want this fixed. I want this replaced. I want this fixed. I want this replaced. To where that, oh boy, we're getting contentious. How about an off ramp? Here's a home warranty. And sometimes it'll save you a couple $1,000 as a seller by not having to replace or repair something. Obviously we would want it working. What I mean is the thing that is working that doesn't need to be replaced, it might be older. Who cares? It's still working properly. Okay. So it's a great off ramp for that contentious part.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's a great point. And I mean, and even on the agent side, let's talk about that. Like if an agent's going in and they're presenting this, and let's say they're being interviewed by this home seller, but the home seller is now interviewing multiple agents. An agent that has this part of their package as well, and they go in and they present. They have their whole listing presentation. They talk about everything else that they do to market the property, all those details, and then on top of that, they offer this service to the seller, and the other agent did not do that.
Okay.
And then going along with what you were just talking about, that extra layer of protection for the seller when you get into that moment when it's just kind of trying to keep the meeting of the minds together and keeping the deal together and how important that is. So I can see the benefits kind of really they're there. And regardless, even if you're watching this and you're not even in our area, Kourtney covers the Kentucky, Tennessee area. If you're watching this and you're in a completely different state, completely different country, whatever, look at home warranties. I will say Home Warranty Incorporated is multiple states, I believe. I mean, I don't know how many you guys cover, but
42, I think now 41, something like that.
There you go. So chances are this company in particular we're talking about is available, but explore, go out there and check out some home warranties, get to know them and really kind of look into what a home warranty is and see if it's worth including that into your marketing presentation for your buyers and sellers. So I think there's a huge amount of benefit to this. I really do. I think there's a huge benefit to this.
Yep. And there's great strategies for presenting it. Like I said, on the seller side, it could be at the beginning, it could be at the end, it could be in the middle. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to sort of use us to get what the seller needs, get what the buyer needs, depending. So
that's good.
Yep.
Well, Kourtney, anything else that you'd like to share before we part ways, or?
No, I think just I loved it. I came across it, just the reduction of post-closing headaches for a seller. I would 100% love it if my seller's agent said, "Hey, I know it's $500, but you're already getting something over asking." I mean, again, sellers were, having the cake and eating it too. I would just think the reduction of post-closing headaches as a seller. And after 9 years of the business, and some of you guys have sold real estate for 15, 20, 30 years, you guys know, I mean, anything to get that seller and buyer and you away from that deal. Obviously, you have to carry E&O insurance, but, like anything to just reduce that is let us handle the problems. We'll do it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
that's
man.
awesome. And Kourtney, we're going to bring this up because I do, if you guys are in the Kentucky, Tennessee area, you guys can reach out to Kourtney Funk. This is his contact information. So the company is Home Warranty Incorporated. The telephone number is 606-315-5144. You can email him at KourtneyF@homewarrantyinc.com. That is KOURTNEYF at homewarrantyinc.com. So Kourtney, hopefully they will reach out to you and start using this service, man, because I can see the benefit absolutely for them to do so. Again, not really much to think about. I would just say if you're an agent out there and you're watching this, get equipped on what home warranties are, what they're not, what the misconceptions are, and then how to actually understand all the details about how they operate, and work that into your conversation with your sellers, because like we've just talked about, it really makes sense to have these. It will help you going into the marketing shift that we're beginning to see, kind of get a little bit of a leg up, a little extra presentation leg up on maybe a competitor that you're interviewing with that might not be offering this to their sellers. It's a great little, unique value proposition, if you will. Yeah. So, Kourtney, that's awesome. Guys, if you have any questions out there, please feel free to reach out, and you can also drop them in the comments at any point. We'll get those to Kourtney if you have any home warranty questions. So you, even as this video goes on, please leave those in there. And Steve Robinson had something for you, Kourtney. Everybody use Kourtney. He's the best.
Steve, hey, it might be a couple years before I sell real estate for you, Steve. I don't know. I don't know if that was just to kind of convince me to sell real estate or what.
Yeah, there you go, man. I don't know. You're pretty good at the home warranty gig, man. You got it down pat.
I know.
Kourtney, thank you so much, my friend.
Yep. Hey, Adam, appreciate you. God bless you guys, and have a Merry Christmas down the road. Appreciate
you too. Kourtney, thanks, man. See you, buddy. Guys, you guys can see the benefit of a home warranty. It just makes sense, right? I mean, we talked about the misconceptions. We talked about the value of offering that. It's a no-brainer, guys. I just encourage you guys to get equipped, understand what it is, and start using that. And I do agree. If you're in our Kentucky, Tennessee area, I agree with what Steve said. If you're looking for someone that's reliable, that understands it, and is there for the clients and the agents, reach out to Kourtney. Telling you can't go wrong. He definitely has a good heart of wanting to serve the agents and serve the clients. He's available to them, everything. So I can't sing his praises enough. We've been friends for many years. So I appreciate you, Kourtney. Thank you for coming on. I do appreciate that greatly. Guys, I just wanted to wrap this up with something. There is a little article that I had that I kind of wanted to go over, and I'm going to post this out on the community tab on YouTube. And I want you guys to research this a little bit. Steve Magnus. It's about Steve Magnus, and he was a really good runner, phenomenal runner. But then he didn't do very well in college. He overtrained. He got worn out. Got beat down. Overtrained. Ended up he was fast in high school and got really slow when he got into college. I know this has nothing to do with real estate, but it kind of does. There's a lot of things in our industry that can kind of beat us down and kind of get us, worn out. Well, Steve Magnus did all that. He wrote a book. In that book, he's talking about just things that he had to overcome and things that he's learned. So I wanted to quickly go over this. Like I said, I'll be posting this, but Steve Magnus, he said this is, when I was in high school, I was a running phenomenon, reaching number one runner in the nation. Then I largely failed. I never improved. And here are 9 lessons for the driven that I wish I knew when I was obsessively training and neglecting just about everything else. So he laid out a few of these things, but one of this was being really good at something at a young age narrows your world. It seems like nothing else matters. That's false. We need mentors and adults in the world to provide perspective. Having the ability to zoom out is one of the most important skills you can develop. Now, even though he's talking about being young, I will say that still applies to us as adults. We need mentors and adults in the world to provide perspective. We need to be operating in relationships, communicate with one another, leaning on one another. Burnout is real. It does happen. And so I just encourage you guys that being really good at something is not your identity. It's also having relationships and building those people around you. And then number 2, hard work absolutely matters. This is another thing he said. Hard work absolutely matters, but so does recovery. So does having friends, family, and hobbies and other outlets. I know that sounds kind of like weird to a pusher, but there's a reason why Nobel Prize winning scientists are 3 times as likely to have a hobby. So the evidence of that is we need a break. Guys, we kind of talked about this, a few weeks ago, talked about emotions and attitudes, that kind of stuff. It's okay to take a break, right? You guys will need those. Another thing he said was, number 3, obsession can be both a gift and a curse. So obsessive can be both a gift and a curse. It all depends on how you utilize and handle it. Treat it with care. Learn how to direct it and use it when you need it. Learn how to turn the dial down, relax, and be in the moment. We have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot that we can just easily get into the world and just begin to obsess over. I encourage you guys, don't become obsessive about it. Learn, have a drive in you, work hard, all those type of things, but don't be obsessed with things. Number 4 was separate your identity from what you do. When you tie your identity too closely to what you do, anytime you fail at that thing, you will take it as a failure of your true self. It won't be that I failed at running or XYZ. It will be, I am a failure. And I thought this was really key. I mean, we have deals fall through and clients get upset with us and we take that so personally. But we got to take our identity and not put it in what we're doing. It's not in our jobs, right? We are more than just our jobs, and we're going to fail in our jobs. We're going to make mistakes in our jobs. All these type of things are going to happen, but that is not your identity. Number 5 is develop a short memory and stop comparing. I love this one because we all are guilty of comparisons. And this is what he says: comparisons lack context. We aren't terribly kind or rational when it comes to our evaluations. We look to our best performance and have amnesia on the rest. That's so good. I mean, comparison is just one of the worst things you can do because you're always looking at the perfect picture. In this world we live in now, in this society now, we're talking about social media, right? It looks like those people making those posts have everything figured out, everything's put together perfectly. Well, that's not the reality. So do not compare yourself to their perfection because trust me, they've got issues too. Keep things in perspective. No one really cares how fast or slow you run in circles or whether you published in some magazine or you've sold millions and millions of dollars in real estate. To be honest, no one really cares. It's good for you. It's great. You're providing for your family. It's great. The majority of people are not going to be really paying attention to that at all, right? But this is what he said. The only people who truly care will be there even if you fail at all of those things. The people who leave don't really matter. The clients that are difficult and troublesome, they're done. It doesn't really matter as much. You did your job. You represented them correctly. What really does matter is when you're weak and you're struggling and you failed, you have those people that truly do love you that are still there even when you do. So keep things in perspective. This is an interesting one. Number 7 is don't follow your passion. Do interesting things. Passion isn't attached to a singular item. It isn't a magical soulmate that will solve all of your woes. Passion is something to apply. It's a state that lies in the interplay of interests, obsession, and curiosity. It is a tool. Don't follow your passion. Do interesting things. We are passionate when we do things. It's a tool that we can use that drives us forward to reach our goals. It's a tool that we can use to go out and say I want to hit and have 30 listings this year, and I want to make $150,000, and I can have passion to reach those goals, those type of things. But it's only going to take you so far. It's only attached to that singular item. It's just not a magical thing that you can just, if you have enough passion, it's going to solve all of your world's problems, right? It's going to solve all of my problems. It's just not going to do that, right? Number 8 is don't let your goals weigh you down. Concrete goals are good and fun, until they aren't, right? So if you create these crazy lofty goals and you just can't get to those goals and you can't achieve those goals, you become depressed and worried about them. I'm just not doing enough, and those type of things, right? They get you down. Your goals will slowly shift from aspirational to anchors. While well-intentioned, the very things that may motivate and push you forward can ultimately weigh you down. Talk about actual goals, ones that you can accomplish in the year, ones that you can check off and say, I did that. Then you set another goal. Micro goals are always good. Those type of things are always good to kind of apply in your life. Don't set such high, lofty goals that basically you feel like I'm just not doing enough, or I can never measure up, and those type of things. Be sure to be conscious of that. And finally, number 9, don't get stuck in comparison mode. Kind of goes back to what we were just talking about, a comparison thing, but here's what he said. Don't look fondly at the glory days and think that they hold some secret to success. It worked in that moment. That moment is now gone. Focus on what you can do at the moment to get better, not what worked or didn't in the past. Now, here's the thing. This absolutely applies to real estate. We work in an industry that's constantly going up and down, changes the way we market ourselves, the way we list homes, the way we negotiate. All those type of things are always changing. And we can get so stuck and say, well, you know what, back in so-and-so, back in this day, or that person, or this is how I did it before, this is the way I did this, those type of things. It's all comparisons, right? Well, we're in an adapting market. We got to be in this moment. We got to look at what's going on now and be ready to make those adaptions. Adapt your business, adapt your marketing, adapt what you're doing to be able to keep growing your business. Don't go back and say, well, back then when I was so-and-so, or back then when I did it this way. Be ready to make those changes. Don't rest on your laurels. So I just thought to end the show, I wanted to share a little bit of that. That was kind of not even really planned. I just kind of thought I'd throw that in. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But that's it for this show, guys. I do appreciate you guys, as always, coming here and hanging out, giving of your time. I do respect that. I thank you guys for that so much. If this is your first time here and you found some value here, I obviously don't want you to just hit subscribe if you don't really want to, but if you did find some value in this, it helps. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. It helps us to it'll let you know that we're going live and posting another video. So I thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of The Advantage and that you have found something of value. In the meantime, be fearless, keep pushing forward, and never stop being relentless in your pursuit of excellence. My name is Adam Gullett, and thank you for watching.